Good meowing guys, gals, zombies, and YouTube catters. We're on the verge of a brand new set for Yu-Gi-Oh! I believe it's Burst Protocol that's going out with the release of the new single archetype Killer Tomb. And with it will probably be a huge shift in the TCG meta that we're currently facing, with the top decks being like Mitsurugi Yummy, Draco Tail, and their Mitsurugi variants or other Yummy variants. I thought I'd share the current build of the White Forest list that I've been playing and been winning at locals recently with. It is still 43 cards. We are still prioritizing consistency more than anything, or hitting the specific non-engine that we want to see more than anything. I know some popular lists have moved up to 60 cards. I personally don't think White Forest has enough engine yet to move up to 60 cards. I believe if you want to play like more engine, like the toy box stuff, or more non-engine to hit some of the more popular decks, then I think like you should cap out like at 50 at the most currently right now. That's only just because White Forest doesn't really have enough starters or really enough engine to piece in to add those extra 10 cards. And you're going to be breaking a lot on your non-engine and not being able to combo. So I do currently have in the works what I've been testing, a 60 card engine White Forest list with more so spellcaster slop. If you want to see that, it's not going to be legal until we get the Dark Magician stuff in sometime early next year, I believe. I don't know if it's January or April next year with the new Maze set. But if you do want to see that, if you do want to see what I'm talking about, if you would like to get some ideas with that 60 card slop deck, I'd be happy to share that in a future video as well. But for now, let's just get into the deck list. 43 cards, White Forest, consistency. Make sure we combo at all times. Make sure we open combo at all times. Of course, as always, it's triple LZ, triple Sylvie. These are your best starters. If you've watched any White Forest videos before, if you have any questions about White Forest videos before, these are your best starters. Not too much to discuss about that. Then we are on the one LZ Azamina of the White Forest, the one Esteller, and the one Rusia. Rusia is still a bit of a brick, but if you open just Esteller and the Ash, Imperm, Veiler, your Esteller, stop your Esteller. If we send Tails or we have the field spell, we can just add Rusia and then still continue to combo with that. Also in like Vanquish Soul matchups, if there's playing Holly Sue, if you're seeing a bunch of Vanquish Soul and they're just waiting on your normal summon, you can still go full combo without committing to your normal summon by getting Rusia. For Diabell Star Engine, the one Diabell Star the Black Witch, one Diabell's the White Witch, and Diabell Star Vengeance. Again, typical ratios. If you're going up to like 50, 60 cards, I would do more Black Witches more than anything, just because Black Witch is a one card starter that doesn't commit to your normal summon and is not as interruptible as, like, say, an Esteller. We have our 3 Witch of the White Forest. I've seen people start to cut down to 2 of these just because of the Dark Lock. If you are not specifically playing Azamina Debtors, which we are playing Debtors still, then absolutely cut down to 2 field spells. But since we are playing Debtors and we do have the Herald of the Arclight, and because we have the Herald of the Arclight in our extra deck, we're on the 3 Witch, just because we can still make Herald of the Arclight as an Omni Negate while Dark Locked, and we can set our Debtors with Deception, so we can make Solar Stygian, Saint Azamina, the Elis Sylvia during our opponent's turn. To continue with the Sinful Spoils spells and traps, we are on the 1 Tails, the 1 Sinful Spoils of the White Forest, and welcome back the 1 Woes. Since Droll is seeing a main deck play now again, and then there's always 3, depending on what deck you're playing, they either have the 3 Drolls on the side or they have the 3 Drolls in the main. We have to have the Woes in our main now for our search off of Sylvie, so we have plays through Droll during the next turn. We have the Filia Diabell, the Cursed Diabell to round off that Diabell package. Our 3 Sinful Spoils wanted, or Deception, Hollowed Azamina, and the Debtors. This is pretty standard. And then now for our Sinful Spoils trap, we are actually on the Silvera instead of the Morian. So I was playtesting for a couple of weeks with both, and really just to cut down consistency, because Morian can sometimes be a brick if we don't have access to our Sinful Spoils line or our Azamina line. And really you just want to be able to like dump Morian into the grave to activate your Azamina, Moa Regina. I'm actually on the Sinful Spoils Silvera, because even if we open this card, say we open Wanted and we open Sinful Spoils Silvera, we can Wanted for our Diabell Star, our Black Witch. Then our Black Witch can send the Sinful Spoils Silvera to special summon itself. And now if they respond to our Black Witch, like if they try to Veiler or Imperm our Black Witch, while this is in the grave, we can banish this and negate any effect that was chained to our Black Witch or our Sinful Spoils. So if they try and Imperm or Effect Veiler our Diabell Star, we can negate it with Silvera. If they let us set the Deception and we go Deception, tribute the Diabell Star to add Hallowed Azamina, and they try and Ash that to keep us off of our Azamina, we can banish the Silvera to protect that line as well. Also, what's really good about Sinful Spoils Silvera is because decks are maining a lot of board breakers like Ultimate Slayer, Dark Ruler No More, Book of the Eclipse, even going as far as like Storms and Raigekis. And they're also coming in out of the side game too. We need a way of layering our negates or layering to protect our board. Because if they go Ultimate Slayer or Book of Eclipse, even if we use like our Diabell Star Vengeance, there's no point chaining it to like Book of Eclipse, and we can't chain it to Dark Ruler No More. So we need something we could chain to those cards that turn off our monsters' effects to protect our board. And Silvera is the best of them. Out of the side, we're also running Scourge, just so we have two options. But being able to protect our Azamina line, and then later on in the combo, banishing our Wanted, putting the Silvera back on the bottom of our deck from the banishment, and then getting it with Azamina LZ, or even your Mursil Yugioh, adding it back to your hand, and now we have access to the negate during our opponent's turn, is very strong. For our non-engine, a very small non-engine package, we have 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Molcharmy. This is probably the best 6 hand traps you could be running right now. Ash Blossom only for your opponent's Charmies, and then of course Molcharmy Full Willows to draw into more engine. And then we are on 3 Infinite Impermanence. This is the newest update. The Infinite Impermanence is really a flex slot for every deck. It's either Imperm for some people, Forbidden Droplet, Dark Ruler No More, Super Poly is also a good option. Really depends on what you're facing or what you expect to face in the meta. I currently just liked Imperm. I liked having more interactions during our opponent's turn. And because every trap in our deck that's not Curse of Diabell is so important, we really need more traps in the deck to hit. So if we do get drolled and we only really have access in our hand to the Diabell Star Vengeance stuff, which is still like our best board ender, we can banish like an Imperm or anything that won't be as good and still have a higher chance of opening more traps and spells without being able to go into our full combo of searching like the Curse of Diabell or sending the Curse of Diabell, stuff like that. To round off the non-engine, we are on 3 Salesman, the anti-Droll card. Because Droll back in the format, because Droll is in people's main decks, we are maining the Salesman. If you're not seeing a lot of people play Droll in their main, then these can go to the side, but you should absolutely be playing 3 Salesman. Another good reason to be maining the Salesman is because these are also kind of pseudo board breakers if you're going second game 1, because you can just declare the monster that they end on, and for the rest of this turn the opponent cannot activate the card or effects of that name that you declared, kind of like a mini Bat Goat Laughs. Very important to note that it is your opponent cannot activate the effects, So for cards like Towers, it affects the opponent. For the rest of the non-engine, it is all the one-ofs, Triple Tactics Talent, Foolish Burial Goods, Called by the Grave, and then the one Black Goat Laughs. The second Black Goat Laughs is now in the sideboard. I really wish we could run multiple Black Goat Laughs, but I want to keep the, like the deck said, I want to keep the deck number as low as possible. And bringing in the goat is a lot better when we know the matchup, or we know like what we're playing against, as opposed to game one when it's still blind. But goat is still a very good card to have. And like I said, these sales bands can also just be mini goats. You may have noticed we are also not on thrust in the main anymore. Honestly, just because the dimensional barrier hits, thrust is not as good going first. So we do have it in this side. Like the best thing it can hit in this list, if we get like drolled, for example, we go thrust, set, woes, blind game one, but we bring it in games 3 or going first over like say the Molcharmies. For the extra deck, we're still on the Herald of the Arclight, the Poplar, and then the rest of our White Forest names. This is all pretty standard. You should, if you're not playing Herald, you should be absolutely playing Herald, because again, if you open Field Spell Starter and you're dark locking yourself before you have access to your Azamina line, then Herald is the only way you can make an Omni Negate and protect yourself from Nibiru. For our tech synchros, we're on the Chaos Angel still great removal, still wins us games by just making Light and Dark Chaos Angel and decks not having ways to out it. We are on the Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon. Should be always running this card, so easy to make with your Diabell Star Vengeance, and it creates, off of Diabell Star Vengeance alone, creates 3 points of removal. And then our tech card, our tech slot for our synchros is the Psychic End Punisher. A lot of people are just running Duration in this slot, but they're running Duration or like Guardian Chimera in this slot. But honestly, with the rise of Luna Lights and other towers, like Brandon getting a tower now, having a way to out that tower or beat over that tower is super important. Our fusions, we are still on the Chorozo. I love being able to combo. I don't like breaking my hands. I want to combo as much as humanly possible. If we get to combo with White Forest, then our boards are unbreakable. Murcielago, Illa Sylvia, Solar Stitchin. I really like Solar Stitchin so much. It's a really great one-to-one removal. Really strong against normal summons, their ignition effects. Also, White Forest struggles with back row removal. So going Solar Stitchin to remove like Draco Tail back row means that we can still combo and set up. If we have Debtor set and they make a fusion into Arthelion and they set like a Rahu or a Ketu, we can make Solar Stitchin and then send that Rahu or Ketu before they have a chance to activate it. Also still on the Moa Regina, popping 2 is amazing. A lot of the times if I'm going blind first game 1, I'm making this more than anything, and then when I discover that depending on what deck they're on, how they're affected by it, we will make the Saint Azamina instead. And then our final card is the 1 SP Little Knight that you have to run to out things like Baguska, but we also now have Imperm in the deck to out Baguska. Like I said, 43 card list. At the most I would recommend would be going up to 50. I would not go up more than that right now, and that literally is just because White Forest doesn't have enough engine or enough cards like a Mitsurugi Yummy that the cards, the different engines link into each other. Because a lot of the times if you're playing 60 card White Forest, you're playing 3 Stellar, and if you open a Stellar, it doesn't matter like how much engine you have. If they just go Imperm, Effect Veiler, or if you're going second with the Stellar, it's the worst normal summon you can have, because it doesn't do anything. I would not recommend playing 60 White Forest for now. Once we do get the new Dark Magician support, I do have a cook for 60 card White Forest coming up, because there has been some good spellcaster support recently that people have not been really paying attention to because it's been like commons in packs. So I am excited to show off 60 card White Forest once we do get that initial support, that initial engines as well. But Let me know what you think about the list. Let me know how White Forest has been going with you for this current meta. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, things like that, let me know down in the comments below. Also, I'm going to be working on, I've been away for a little bit, but we are going to be doing a locals video, not live stream, but recorded matches here in the near future as soon as I can get that set up. So please look forward to those videos coming out as well and show you lines. Like I said, as always, if you have questions about lines, things you're running into, different combos and things with White Forest, I know we've been doing this deck for a while now, but feel free to join the Discord or ask in the comments below. So that being said, hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, good night.